So we have a point 1/4 and 8 lying on the curve y equal 2 over x. If q is a point x and 2 over x, so just somewhere on that curve, find the slope of the secant line PQ for the following values of x. Alright, so our first one, they're giving us an x of 0.35. So the y value would be 2 over 0.35. And so if we need a slope, we're going to take 2 over 0.35, that's y from the second point, minus 8, that's the y from the first point, I don't need a parenthesis, that's going to be over the x from the second point, 0.35, minus the x from the first point, which is 1/4 or 0.25. So we just compute a slope, we'll put that in, and it looks like we get negative 22.857. All right, so then we need to do that for 0.26. So we're just going to do the same thing all the way along there. So we're going to take 0.26 and 2 over 0.26, that's our x2 and y2, and go ahead and compute a slope then, the y from the second point minus the y from the first point over the x from the second point minus the x from the first point. And we'll go ahead and compute that, and it looks like that one is negative 30.7692. So we continue doing that. Here we have 0.15 because we're going to kind of try and move in from the other side. So if we were looking at this graph, we started at 0.35 and we moved closer to 1/4 by moving to 0.26. Now we're going to start over on the left hand side at 0.15 and then we're going to move in closer at 0.24. So you compute these the very same way. Take the y value when you put 0.15 in this function and subtract the y value from p, and then you're going to do the x value of 0.15 and subtract the x value from p, which is 0.25, and it looks like that one I get negative 53.333. Keeps repeating. And then I do it for the very last point, so I'm going to take the y value, which was 2 with 0.24, put in there, minus 8, and that's going to be divided by 0.24 minus 0.25. And when I compute that, I get negative 33.33. Okay, so now the last question says, based on the above results, guess the slope of the tangent to the curve and round it to the nearest integer. Well, as I'm looking at these, as I narrowed in from one side here, I got to the negative 30.7, and as I narrowed in from this other side, I got to negative 33.33. So I think it's going to be somewhere between those two. So what I would do is take the average of those. So I'm going to add negative 30.7692 plus negative 33.33 and then divide it by 2, and that would be my closest guess there. And then we need to round that to the nearest integer. So rounded to the nearest integer, that slope would be 32.